Alright, hello everybody. This should finish out my dissertation. So, let's see here. Limitations. I'll let you read that for yourself. It's just, you know, things that come up that. Here's the important part. The recommendations to leaders and practitioners. Let's see here. This right here is mostly a repeat, except for, okay, leaders and practitioners should research more into leadership traits, especially the higher mind traits of leadership. Leaders and practitioners should understand the higher mind, creative, integral, and unitive with the leadership transformational, servant, and unitive that pairs with the universal model of leadership theory and Carl Jung's theory of individuation to evolve consciousness out of the reactive mind. Leaders and practitioners should create a safe environment for employees to express themselves in work. Leaders and practitioners should understand the procedural justice theory to create a safe and fair environment for justice. Justice is about healing the soul, not revenge. Leaders and practitioners should reflect on how upper management aids in the success of restorative justice. Leaders and practitioners should recognize and understand that upper management should reflect the values of leadership and the principles of restorative justice. Leaders and practitioners should demonstrate knowledge by spreading awareness. Leaders and practitioners should spread the knowledge of restorative justice in education, business training literature, and internet discussion, bringing restorative justice to the home, and invest in training and resources that will aid the success of restorative justice efforts. Leaders and practitioners should understand how the harmer becomes self-aware in the process of restorative justice. The harmer should become self-aware about how their actions affected the person harmed, other people, organizations, and society. The harmer becoming self-aware will have a profound impact on healing and improving workplace relations. Leaders and practitioners should research more into how restorative justice creates an efficient work environment that induces teamwork. If an individual believes that everyone is connected, then the chance of harming another person is less because that individual would perceive that harming another individual is equivalent to harming oneself. Leaders and practitioners should research how the idea of oneness can heal an organization. Oneness aligns with the universal model of leadership theory, specifically the higher mind, unitive, and paired with quantum leadership. Leaders and practitioners should focus on repairing the harm done to improve relationships. The success of restorative justice should focus on integrating and transforming the company to transform employees, leaders, and managers to repair the harm, to build society, or create a culture to create unity, which improves relationships. Leaders and practitioners should investigate how repairing the harm provides more benefits than punitive punishment. Leaders and practitioners should research comparing the effects of punitive punishment and restorative justice, which would help to understand both systems and the cause and effects of both systems in the workplace. Okay, and this just kind of goes over a few things. I'll let you read that. In a way, it's just somewhat a repetition, but just in table format. Okay, recommendations for future research. Let's see here. Okay, one recommendation for future research is to expand the study across the world to increase the transferability of the results. A mixed method study should be done to understand more in depth the qualitative and quantitative results of the effectiveness of restorative justice solutions. A second recommendation is to discuss the role of guilt and shame to understand how emotions play a role in transforming consciousness and restorative justice. A lack of literature exists about how emotions trap expression and how restorative justice releases that emotional expression. A narrative inquiry study on the effectiveness of restorative justice would be insightful, and research about how restorative justice transforms individuals positively. A third recommendation is that focusing on the themes identified in the research may lead to areas that need further research to help understand the effectiveness of restorative justice in more detail. Okay, and then chapter summary. That's repeat. That's a repeat. That's just a repeat. It's just a repeat of themes. Repeat of themes. Oh, here, I'll go slow. So if you want to pause to read it, that's okay. But that's all just a repeat of my themes. Okay, researcher's reflection. I would like to note two things that I found interesting about the study. Guilt and shame should be included in the restorative justice process, and fear traps expression. Carl Jung noted that individuation occurs because of a hate-love duality relationship. And in the same sense, the guilt-shame relationship occurs between the harmer and the affected person. A key observation in the study discusses how, in the beginning, the harmer feels guilt and the affected person feels shame. The next thing I realized in the guilt-shame relationship is that fear traps expression, and people have difficulty expressing these emotions. Possibly, the individuals have a hard time processing emotions in general. Freedom in restorative justice and research should focus on this aspect of restorative justice. If participants in restorative justice release hidden emotions to free themselves from trapping their expression, then success and integration should occur. To be clear, guilt and shame should only be felt by the harmer and affected person, and should not be used against them. The harmer and affected person need a safe environment to release guilt and shame before the emotions turn negative and increase the chance for revenge. Maslow warned that if the only tool an individual has is a hammer, the person will treat everything as if it were a nail. I hope that the knowledge of my dissertation provides academia, leaders, managers, organizations, and individuals to have an epiphany that there are more tools in the toolbox than a hammer, and to explore and create new ideas that transform society away from a state of fear. Growth requires love and positive expression. I hope and believe that the new paradigm shift, or any paradigm shift, should focus on growth and positive expression, rather than the continuous cycle of negativity, injustice, and fear. And so these are my references. And then after that, this closes that up. And that's all of it. Alright. The rest were just like um, appendixes and tables and graphs. So I'm not going to go over that because it was all in the dissertation. Um, so this wraps up my dissertation. Um, so I'm still going to be in uh, writing my peer-reviewed paper until about April 3rd, April 10th. Um, so next Tuesday, my focus is going to be what I'm going over um, in terms of the micronova situation, how I'm doing that research, and then the Tuesday following, unless I have more to say about the micronova, which I don't think I will be, but uh, I will, let's see here, and go back to talking about bricks. And bringing that way people have a kind of a full understanding of what's going on with bricks because I think a lot of people are clueless about that, especially with all the connections and things of that nature. And once I get out, I gotta go back and take a look at the things that I kind of like started and created. But one of the things I also have back in mind is um, knowing that I've made new discoveries, kind of like with uh, religious or spirituality that I might that I'm gonna go over, and I'm gonna restart what I was doing with Carl Jung. Um, I'm gonna go back and revisit that because um, I believe there's a lot more new things that I can say about that and do that whole thing a little bit better. I only went through maybe 1.25 of a book. I want to go back through and kind of go back and restart that in a different way now that I know how to use OBS and things of that nature to where I can bring more detail into talking about it because it's kind of hard to uh, kind of understand without pictures. But other than that, so I'm working on some new things like that, and I'm doing some shorts of my videos, and also hopefully I'll have some new poetry. But other than that, I hope all of you have a good one, and have fun, and peace out. Bye.